Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction to read through for Tower of God chapter 626 or season 3 episode 209. I literally was like trying to set up my recording. I was like, what's today's number? 626, it's the Stitch number. So I'm excited as usual. Last chapter I really didn't like as much, but I always go into every chapter trying to have as much fun as possible, trying to like it as much as possible. So even though I wasn't really into last week or the week before, I think they were both kind of stinkers as far as Tower of God usually goes. I'm still excited for this week. I still want to see what we get, and I'm still always going to try to have as much fun as I possibly can just because I love the series. So, I haven't really heard anything about anything that happens in the future. It's just that I've mentioned in the past where there'd be like a few weeks where it seemed like, people who read ahead weren't as excited, and then sometimes people were extremely excited, and I feel like it's kind of been back and forth. I have heard some weeks I feel like people are saying great things, some weeks I feel like they aren't, so not only do I have no clue what's coming, maybe we're just getting a mixed bag of chapters. Maybe one week it'll be incredible, one week it'll be awful, for all I know. So I'm excited to read still. I think the thumbnail for this one maybe kind of spoiled me a little bit. I'm pretty sure it had Traumaray in it. Then again, I guess there was a panel of Traumaray last chapter. I was going to say maybe that's spoilery that we're cutting away from the Bomb and Dumas stuff, but now that we're in the thick of it, it kind of feels weird to cut away from it almost. So if we're cutting away from like mid-fight Bomb and Dumas, we might see Traumaray stuff here, or we could learn more about Traumaray. And there's actually one panel from last week I kind of want to bring up. You know what it is. It's the one Traumaray panel. He's there with 3 eggs and everything, and something I didn't even really think about until watching Ron Can's reaction is that's current Traumaray with the mask and the short hair, and we saw, past Traumaray with the long hair, no mask and everything with Leviathan. So Leviathan either isn't one of those 3 eggs, and he's a 4th dragon. He's a different, older, special thing, which is what I think. I think that the 3 dragons are a different thing, and Leviathan is special. Leviathan came before the 3. That's what I'm thinking. It's either that or Leviathan is one of the 3, and that was an art mistake. See you or one of the assistants. That's a simple mistake to make. Just drew current Traumaray instead of old Traumaray. That's a really easy mistake to make when you're not really thinking about it, though. I see, like, from reading manga week to week, there are always plenty of times where the mangaka will make a mistake with a character's clothing, or maybe they forget some of their scars, like they draw them from before they had a new scar or something, and they have to be like, oh crap, I'll fix it in the volume release. So that kind of thing just sort of happens. So, it could just be a mistake, but I actually think it's not a mistake in that Leviathan's older than the other 3 dragons. So more of a special thing. But yeah, really quick before we get in, I guess there's not much to say. I switched up the shelves in the background a little bit because of the Bleach figures I just opened. We've got a, Bleach shelf back there, both of the One Piece shelves. We got Sora, Riku, and Kairi up in the top right. The evolutions, like fitting all 8 would be really cramped, so I only use the ones from Penny's team from Scarlet and Violet up on the top shelf. And you can't really see Espeon and Glaceon aren't part of her team. You can't really see them down there towards the bottom. And then, of course, Hero Academia shelf. Another Hero Academia shelf that even if I move, you're probably not going to be able to fully see because of the preacher part of my bench behind me. And on my bench I saw that I was like, well, you can see the fish anyway, so I'm gonna put it so you can kind of see it even better. I tried to like rearrange it as I was setting up my camera and everything, and you can see it better when I switch to full screen, but yeah, it looks a bit flaccid. It's still, the fish is not having the best day. He doesn't look great back there. But with all of that out of the way, let's just start reading this week, see what we get. We do get a violence warning, which is something. Or maybe it's not something, maybe it's nothing actually. Now that I think about it for more than like 2 seconds, maybe it is nothing. Yeah, that night. Okay, Belarankidu. You blamed me for your crime. Now that I'm back, why don't you finally tell the truth and confess? Go ahead and admit that you're the one who killed Amizu. Ooh, also really quick, before I continue, we kind of saw this 3 chapters ago, I think, is when we last saw this stuff. Every 5 chapters, I've been like, when we get through 5 chapters, I'll use that 5 chapter chunk to take screen time notes. Screen time notes from 601 to 625, the top 10, or I guess top 9 characters. I know I posted it here on like Discord or something. Hold on, I'm looking really quick. Yeah, top 15 actually. Top 15 by screen time in 601 to 625. Number 1 is a tie, 1 and 2, between Bam and Dumas. Bam and Dumas have the most time in the past 25 chapters. Next up is Traumerei, and then after Traumerei in 3rd, there's actually another tie for 4th and 5th between Gastang and Enkidu. So Gastang and Enkidu doing incredibly well on screen time, but of course we did get Traumerei's past as a little mini arc, so Traumerei in 3rd. Still surprised actually, Bam and Dumas, the past 2 chapters were just like nothing but Bam and Dumas, so I guess it does make sense that they even supersede Traumerei here. 6th place would be Rack, 7th would be Kuneye, 8th would be Belarir, 9th would be Amizu, and then 10th through 15th would be a big 6-way tie? Yeah, 10th through 16th is a big 6-way tie between Edwan, Tiara, Lobadan, Holin, Rashut, and Wee, and then after that it'd be just a bunch more ties from characters that it's like, okay, we saw each of them a couple of times each. So yeah, that'd be our top 15 by screen time. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up before I continued to forget. So, moving along, we have Season 2, Reunion Part 2, just making sure, yeah, you could still see fine. Oh, so this is interesting. We had Reunion, and then we had Battle in the Heart 1 and 2, and now we're getting Reunion 2. I think this is the first time that CU's ever done that with the titles. Amizu. Why is that name familiar? I have a bad habit of saying Amizu when the I there really shouldn't make an E sound. Then looks down. And like there are other ways that you can pronounce it if you want. Amizu's not perfect. Like I probably shouldn't be putting that much emphasis on the U, but at the very least the I isn't really an E sound in this case. Amizu. I remember now. The creature I sought in my dreams. Looks like you finally remembered. And he's calling her a creature here. I think this shows, the difference in who Traumerei's become compared to who he was at first. Like, even now when he thinks back with the little that he's starting to remember, he's not thinking of her as, part of us anymore, just a creature he sought. Looks like you finally remembered. Amizu, do you remember the awful thing you did as well? What the heck is he talking about? Thinks Holin. Is he just rambling nonsense? Interesting that out of all the Lopobia, Holin is like the loyal one, the one that's still here by Traumerei's side, even when pretty much the rest of his family has abandoned him or been killed off. Like, Holin is kind of like this last loyal standee here with Traumerei. Also, compared to those last few panels of him in the last chapter he was in, Holin once again looking young and not really messed up in the face. And his hair is like always kind of different every time we see him. This isn't quite how I thought the plan was supposed to go. Should I do something? Now's my chance, thinks Dorothy. She gets up using Bong Bong? You little weasel. Crap. Can't believe I lost the king. Whatever it takes. Oh. That's him thinking this. She has the king? Oh, no, I'm an idiot. I'm so dumb. I was like, skin tone. I'm hoping that's not Holin's hand, because if so, that's way off. But no, it's freaking Belarenkidu. Belarenkidu took it. I'm so dumb. I have to get it back from him. Amizu. They're still faint, but my memories are gradually returning. Her face, her body, and her gestures. Her smile. And, the most important of all, her death. This is really good. Do you see now? Enkidu calls up to him. You killed her, Traumerei. You did it. You're the one who killed her. And it's like he's trying to reject it, to reject the information, to stomp Enkidu down. No, you killed her, Enkidu. What? I killed her? Are you completely delusional? Only fragments of my memories have returned. But you're the one who killed her, Enkidu. What are you talking about? And do you know why? Because I'm your ruler. Man, I freaking love just full evil Traumerei stuff. That son of a bitch. That's a good expression, too. He hasn't changed at all. Don't twist the truth. That still means that you killed her, you freak. I'm not twisting anything. I don't remember all the details, so I can't say exactly what happened. But I've been a ruler since then, and I would have never gotten blood on my own hands. So again, he's saying if I control somebody else to kill somebody for me, then I didn't really kill them. Again, it's his own coping mechanism in a way. So, you must have killed her, Enkidu. Shut up, it's not a question of who's got blood on their hands. What matters is whose intention was behind her murder. No, that doesn't matter at all, Enkidu. What? Many years have passed since you first went to sleep. And in the meantime, I've become certain of something. The most important thing isn't the truth or people's feelings. What really matters above all else. And we have this really, really, severe look at him. Is who controls the truth. Man, much like, again, Gustang and the 10 family heads making history what they want it to be. It's not about the truth, it's about who controls what truth is. Man, I love this. I love that they're using Gororo as well, because Gororo was the one we saw of all of them who really truly believed in Revolution's cause. Like, there were other characters that were trying to use Revolution for their own revenge or whatever, and we don't know much about the boss or anybody else that might be on the ship, but Gororo really actually truly believed in the idea of the old generation is corrupt, and it's because they've been in this place for so long, so the old generation needs to be wiped out so that a new generation can rise up and in turn die out in the next generation, and so that the natural cycle of life and death can return without the stagnation of just the immortal family heads at the top. So it's incredible that we're using Gororo here as well. And it's crazy that Gororo isn't as ethereal. He's more physical looking than Enkidu here. Unless Enkidu's just puppeting two bodies right now and they're both physically there. But I like too that when we have this silent reaction bubble here, that it's 3 bubbles overlapping. So this is like, hearing this from Traumerei is kind of set the metaphysical heart, the idea of Gororo, like the consciousness, has returned to hear this. And all 3 of them think the same thing. So, okay, you bastard. And again, like, Bellarier's goal here is hatred for what happened with the Red Light District. Again, we don't know what the full deal is. Is he a Red Light District clone of Gustang, similar to the way that the bosses and Wangnan and Karaka might be some kind of clone or offspring created from Zahard? Is he one for Gaston? Because Gaston said that he was an illegitimate son, but I feel like most of us don't believe that. Tiara didn't believe that, even though it's what Gaston said. But again, you know, we don't know how much. Like, is that what Zahard and Tromre were planning away from the other family heads, was the red light district? We don't know how much specifically Tromre has to do with the red light district, so there might be some personal hatred there for Belerier. But even if not, I don't know how much he believes in the direct cause of revolution itself, but he at the very least has a bone to pick with the family heads and whatever they've done. And then, of course, I already mentioned Goro's goals, and then on top of that, Enkidu's personal story with Tromre. You bastard. You shameless prick. I'll kill you. No, wait. Control yourself. And we're seeing a different, like this big emotional reaction out of Enkidu, who would fall for the bait and try to attack him, even though, again, I'm under the impression that Enkidu would just get demolished by Tromre. I don't think he would stand a chance. But then you've got Belerier being more pragmatic about it. And it might be a good thing, because Enkidu as the creature could be controlled by Tromre. But maybe by Enkidu going into Bellerier's body. Belerier is special, he's maintained his consciousness after being taken over, which is a special thing, and apparently Gororo may have as well, and we're seeing a glimpse of it here. But Belerier was special in how he maintained his consciousness even after being taken over, so maybe the creature being within Belerier might kind of negate some of the nerfs, so to speak, that were placed on Enkidu's powers. How am I supposed to control myself after hearing that? Just calm down. You couldn't beat him in a fight anyway. Trust me, I have a plan. I like this. That voice. So, you were the arrogant jerk I heard talking on the Observer. Are the two of you living in the same body? Okay, so this is good. This is good. Tromre is observant enough. Like, sometimes, if he didn't notice, you could kind of play it off as being like, oh, a family head wouldn't pay that much attention to mere creatures or whatever. But I do like that he takes notice, he recognizes the voice, and he's like, okay, so you're the one who set up this game. That's right, Lord Tromre. What a bizarre situation. You know what this is, don't you? He holds up the chess piece. Of course, it's a king. And if I take this king to the arena, what do you suppose will happen then? It's difficult to say. You may belong to the Popodal family, but you're not taking part in the game. I guess Gaston wouldn't be allowed to play chess with me, since a non-participant beat him to the finish line. But wouldn't that give me an advantage? If you really want to threaten me, you should have stolen my king. He laughs. You still haven't figured it out. Don't you see? Your king is in my hands as well. Nonsense. I've already found my king. I bet you don't even know who it is. Oh, but I do. It's him. And we see Holin again. The veins are back. I guess, are those veins or are those just weird wrinkles? I would assume they're the veins coming back, but like, whether the veins are there or not is like always kind of back and forth. He's also looking like he's always like muscular, but he's usually a bit more like of a fit, like athlete kind of muscular. But here he's like bulked up. He's more bodybuilder muscular this panel. Right over there. What's Holin doing there? Could it be? And then he's laughing. Now, I can finally say this. That's right. Ever since I was brought here against my will. No, in fact, ever since this war began, I had already made up my mind to betray you. So literally everyone is dead or betrayed him. Except for Lobadan's family, really, but they are kind of... They're loyal to the idea of their family, not so much to Tromre specifically, I would think. Lord Tromre. I wonder what his motives are going to be. This is so predictable. We've been working together since before this game started. Of course, because we know that Belerier talked to the other branch leaders. We still don't know who one of the branch leaders was. We only know 5 of Traumare's pieces. We don't know who one of his pieces was. Although I had no idea I would end up with the king, of course. But as soon as I found out I had the king, I realized this was my chance. I notified him on the messenger channel he shared with me and went looking for you. Since then, I've been following you around waiting for this moment. Because I wanted to see it with my own eyes. He is just going to get instantly clapped, isn't he? Do you hear me? I want to see how you react when faced with something beyond your control. And it kind of feels weird because I don't see why Holen would have any specific hatred for Traumare. Like, if he were to have any hatred for Traumare, you'd think it would be shared with, like, any of the Lopobia. Like, they would all feel the way that Holen feels. But it seems like, again, Holen's hair is different here again. It seems like, if anything, he would have some hatred for Gaston. You tried to train me to be a new branch leader, but I've never felt respected by you in my entire life. You only chose us as replacements for the branch leaders who had started to get on your nerves, because they opposed the war and were growing tired of you. Despite knowing that, I was proud to be one of your pawns and eagerly awaited my chance to serve you. Until this war began, that is. But you never had any intention of including us in the war. You didn't even care if we died or not. We didn't mean anything to you, not even as pawns, because you were more than capable of fighting the war by yourself. We were just a useless, meaningless way for you to satisfy your desire to dominate others. That's probably why Kirin turned against you too. Our very existence meant absolutely nothing to you. Okay, so this is probably being used narratively. Again, I don't think this is bad or anything. Like, again, his problems with Traumare, I get it. I feel like these are problems that anybody in the family could have with him. But I think that narratively, this is a good way to get across Kirin's betrayal to him. It's, again, like I was about to say, a kind of microcosm, a miniature look at the problems that Kirin had. And I think we might get deeper into the more close personal relationship with Traumare to his children when we get into the Lobanon and Kirin fight. Hopefully we maybe get some more flashbacks there, because that's a big thing that kind of started this war off, or a big part that goes into this war is Kirin basically turning the family against him, plotting and gaining control over the day-to-day operations of the family, and then setting that against the Pobedao in order to work with revolution. And it feels like with Kirin and Lobanon being the oldest children of Traumare that we know of, and with them, when they first clashed back at that station, and Kirin was talking about, like, he's never treated us properly as a father, and all of this, and, like, it was more of an emotional motivation and a personal, like, family motivation that led Kirin down this path. It's kind of, this is our, like, way to start bringing that idea up with Traumare of him not treating his children right, just treating his children as playthings that were creatures, just a part of his game, basically. So I think this is our way of, like, you know, even if he already knows Kirin betrayed him, to start bringing this idea up against Traumare himself. Her very existence meant absolutely nothing to you. But what would happen if I smashed this chess piece before you entered the arena? See, looks like I do still matter to you in some way. Now get on your knees and beg me for the king. Again, I think he's just gonna, like, one-shot Holen here. But I think that Holen's betrayal is supposed to start making us think more about Kirin's motivations, maybe, to get into that stuff later. I just feel like he's gone on so long with the monologue that it feels like Traumare's just gonna one-shot him. But also, something that a lot of us have been bringing up, like me and everybody else I see reacting, people in the comments, like pretty much every week, and then everybody else's reaction like every week, is, does anybody, like, really think that we're gonna really go through with a chess match at this point? Because I don't think anybody believes that. Because, like, let's say, okay, he destroys the king, or let's say that Traumare captured the chess piece of Gaston's. Gaston's not just gonna say, oh well, you won the chess piece game, time to leave. No, Gaston's here to kill Traumerei right now. He's not just gonna be like, wow, you won the chess game, man, good game, and then like walk away. That's not what Gaston's gonna do. Like, no matter how this game goes, and again, if Traumerei's piece gets destroyed, do we really think Traumerei's just gonna say, sorry Gaston, can't fight ya, chess piece got destroyed, you know, too bad, can't do it. Do we really think that's the way it's going to go? And then what of Revolution? What of FUG? What of Hike Song if that happens? But I like this line especially from Holin. It looks like I matter, or I still matter in some way, because if for some reason we were under the impression that because of the way that rules in the tower works and games are like settled with the administrator, and like maybe the administrator had some way to make it so that, you know, they couldn't fight, like it was just banned, it just couldn't happen if this game went down a certain direction. If the stakes seemed that high and it didn't seem like Traumerei and Gaston could just ignore them, and it does seem kind of like Traumerei and Gaston can just ignore them, then this would be a really good way to be like, I might not have mattered to you as a child, descendant, whatever Holin actually is to Traumerei, but it's like him taking this chance to be like, I have some meaning in this world. I'm not just a plaything of my ancestor. And then, Lopo be a Traumerei, or I'll destroy this king right in front of you. Pathetic. So in summary, the branch leaders were displeased with me because of the way I behaved during this war. As a result, even Kirin turned his back on me and allowed himself to be captured by the Pobedao family. Then he decided to betray me and join forces with that guy over there. I think the translation might be a little bit weird here, because that's not exactly what happened, but I can see this just being a matter of the translation being weird. You people have only proven to me how useless you really are. Because, like, Kirin wasn't captured by the Pobedao. I mean, maybe it's a mistake and he's saying Holin here. Because Holin was captured by the Pobedao family and decided to betray him and join forces with the guy over there. So it might be like, even as, or like, it might be, you know, they were mad about this, Kirin betrayed me, and you turned your back on me, allowed yourself to be captured, and betray me and join forces with that guy. Because the whole getting captured and then betraying him, joining forces with that guy, that applies to Holin. But turning his back on him does apply to Kirin. So that might be like two separate sentences and it was just translated weird, or something like that. You people have only proven to me how useless you really are. What? So, why'd you side with the branch leaders? Simply to ensure victory for your family head Gaston? Isn't that obvious? No, not really. To be honest, I find your presence in this war the most puzzling thing of all. And then he pauses for a moment. Why in the world are you doing this? All I want is for you all to meet with the downfall that you deserve. Again, we know that from what he said, we saw the quick flashback, and he has an issue with the red light district. And we also heard him say that Gaston can't take himself out. Again, we kind of saw that with, you know, after V took himself out, Arlen couldn't do the same because of the immortality contract and everything. So much in the same way, Gaston can't take himself out, which makes you think, if they, because of the immortality contract, can't take themselves out, how could one of the family heads kill it? Can the family heads not kill another family head? Is that part of the immortality, that even they can't do it, even though they're irregulars? Because if they can't do it to themselves, despite the fact that they're irregulars, how could they do it to others unless they have some sort of method? Because Gaston says he wants to kill Traumerei. Maybe, even if you're a family head, even if you're an irregular, maybe you can't kill another family head without some special method. And Gaston might just have that. Maybe that has to do with the Fitbit, because he said the Fitbit is part of bringing down Zahard. We know that it can be used to give Shinwan Ryu to people who aren't irregulars, but what else can it do? can it do anything else? Maybe Gaston does have a way of using it to use against Traumerei specifically. So, like, again, to get back on track, he said not only does he have a problem with the red light district that we know of, but what he said when he was talking with Tiara and everything was that Gaston can't take himself out, which is why Gaston needs Bellerir and people like him to do it for him. So he is still, even though he wants to kill Gaston, he's still kind of working, he's colluding with Gaston to kill Gaston. My motives are probably simpler than anyone else involved in this. I can't imagine a more fitting death for you than to be humiliated and killed by the very people you ruled over, like Holin. I suppose that's reasonable enough. Then, what does Gaston hope to achieve by helping him? Does he want to punish us all? I commend your efforts, but I'm afraid you little creatures won't get what you want. What? There are 2 reasons. Firstly, you and Enkidu may have joined your bodies together, but Enkidu is still under my control. That means Gaston's pawn is essentially in my hands. Ha, did you think I wouldn't have considered that? I have 2 personalities now. You don't have full control over me anymore. And secondly, the king is still under my control. What? And do you know why? Because like Enkidu, and we had the veins popping out, I still have control over you as well, Holin. That's not possible. No, it can't be. I've spent a very long time studying how to control people. Holin, haven't you noticed anything unusual about those ancient fish you command? Those creatures of yours are artificial fish I used in my experiments to dominate humans long ago. They allow me to use people as hosts and control them. That's the whole reason that I created you, Holin. And we see that Holin is like a tank for these ancient sea creatures, which is a cool way to do things. Also, love the designs, how they're all like these are all like actually like ancient sea creatures that you can see fossils of and everything. So we have that aspect going on, but we can see the stages and progression here. So Traumerei was like, man, I can control creatures. If only I could control Amazu like I can control creatures. He couldn't do so. Things ended poorly, but he asked Mixeth. He was like, I want something that's nothing but can become anything. And he wanted something that was nothing that could become anything, that was a creature, something that he could control, and he asks that creature to become human. Because the tower's rules say that you can't control humans. So it's like, how do you get around the rules to not control humans? We learn at some point he used, I think it's the Pine Needle Workshop. Also, for any of you theorists out here, this is some good theory bait. We know 2 workshops so far. We know the Acorn Workshop and the Pine Needle Workshop. And isn't it interesting that it's Acorn, Pine Needle, and then Bomb is Chestnut? It's night, but it's also Chestnut. So if you want to get into some crazy theory stuff, that's some good theory bait. But he used the Pine Needle Workshop to be like, okay, start fusing animal DNA into humans to create the beastkin so that we can create humans that are controllable by anima. And now we see that he didn't stop with the beastkin. He kept going even after the beastkin, because the beastkin, you would assume, kind of have to be born that way or created that way, made that way, however you want to say it, in order to be controlled, in order to be beastkin. But what do? You can't control a human who's already a human, who was just born as a human. You presumably can't just turn them into a beastkin unless you have, like, maybe the power of the Fang, I guess, making people canine people. Maybe that works, but maybe not. Like, I don't know, that's a little bit unclear, because, like, the Fang was used and it helped give Bomb the power of transformation, but Bomb's not, like, actually a canine person. So, you know, little unclear. Don't know if that makes you able to be controlled. Don't know if that makes you, like, a real beastkin, if that happens. I mean, I guess it does for some people, like the people that were made beastkin under Doom and Yama's powers, or Yama using Doom's power. So, you know, A little questionable. But again, if somebody's just a regular human and you don't have the thing, which is a special, like, out of nowhere, I guess, mutation kind of thing that only Wang Wang was born with, then how do you take a person and make them controllable? He used Holland for that experiment, to use creatures inside them to control somebody who is a human. You're the final product of all those experiments. So we see, yeah, Holland's the final product. Holland is a human who can be controlled. He's not a beastkin. He's not a creature that was made into a human. He's an actual human that's controllable. Don't lie. And this is very cool art. Not even a powerful animal like you can control human beings. Actually, I can. He starts collapsing. That is so cool. I mean, it's horrifying, the, like, ethical implications and everything, but we see that after all these years, Tromare finally succeeded in making a human that can be controlled. And now, Holland, you said you want to see what it's like when I'm not in control of something, right? Now we're seeing all of Holland's creatures. Well, unfortunately, that's not possible for you, at least. Holland, bring me the king. Yes, Lord Tromare. Shit. I didn't see this coming. Wake up. Don't listen to him, Holland. Stop right now. You numbskull. And then it looks like he's getting eviscerated. Is this Gaston showing up, maybe? You're such a fool. I don't understand you, Enkidu. And I like when he's calling out Hya here, it is like the multiple voices once again. I love the glimpse we got of Gorudo within him, though. And Gorudo actually, his spirit, his consciousness inside, reacting to Tromare's words earlier. After finally waking up from that deep sleep, shouldn't you be more careful to avoid danger and stay alive? True, so true. Enkidu is really putting himself in danger a lot. Why would you come looking for me in the hope of achieving an impossible revenge? You still haven't learned your place, I see. Shut up. All I need is for you to know the truth. But even that so-called truth is just your own subjective opinion. I guess maybe it was the creatures and energy bursting from Holland to keep Belenkidu away. Here, I guess that's what this was. It was the creatures and energy bursting out to just keep him away. And then, shut up. All I need is for you to know the truth. But even that so-called truth is just your own subjective opinion. Now, stop arguing and just die already. Okay, now we have the flames raining down. You were trying to steal my king while I wasn't here? You sneaky bastard. That voice. Are you afraid to play Are you that afraid to play chess with me? Tromare, don't be absurd. You finally decided to show yourself, did you? I thought you were hiding from me. Gaston, I just needed some time to clear my mind and make a decision, but I've made up my mind. I'm going to kill you. Okay. That was a really good chapter. Really, 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 really good. As seen by how long it, I'm going on 40 minutes recording, how long it took me to discuss my way through it. Let me throw up the credits here while we talk a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Really, 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 really good chapter. Like, not only do we have the hype of being like, oh, we're gonna get into Gaston versus Tromare. That's exciting. That's really good. It's really exciting. But I think we got into some good character stuff with Tromare. We got into some good character stuff with Holland that, again, gives us hints for Kirin stuff in the future. Again, pulls more character writing, character stuff out of Tromare, who's a character that's already, thick with it. And then we also use that as a way to, I don't know if you'd call it writing stuff or just some extra like lore stuff to show that all this time we've been seeing the various experiments at different points in time of Traumerei trying to get around the rule that you can't control a human, to be like, okay, we'll take a creature and then make them human, or we'll make creatures that are half creature, half human. And now we see at the end of it all, he has finally made a method to make a human that can be controlled, and Holin's the end result of all his experimentation. And that's really neat. On top of all of that, we get really good. I love just having the glimpse of Gororo's ego, his consciousness back for that moment, the moment with the three of them reacting to Traumerei's words. Traumerei had a lot of really good little monologues, soliloquies. He had a lot of good moments, and having Traumerei give that one just really evil speech, straight up laying things out, and then having the three of them within the one body respond is really good. Again, Bellurir and Enkidu, I'm really, people are going to be like, what, you like Bellurir? But yeah, Bellurir and Enkidu, I think the writing stuff here, I think the character stuff has been really good. So, we were at bomb stuff for 2 chapters, and I think I've been saying it for like months now, was like, when we're on the bomb stuff, at least post-hotel. In the hotel, even the bomb stuff was pretty darn good. Like, the hotel was just a really, really good arc. But it's like, the past couple months or whatever, it's like, whenever we're on the bomb stuff, we stinky. Big old smelly writing there. But whenever we're away from bomb, this stuff is good. Like, anytime we're away from bomb, it just feels like we're getting some good stuff. And I loved it. So, last 2 chapters, wasn't a huge fan, but this chapter was great. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see where we go from here. Excited to do more. I didn't have a chance to record the anime reaction today, and I'm going to be busy tomorrow. And if I do get any time tomorrow, I should probably prioritize Kubera over the anime reaction. So I don't know if I'll be doing the anime tomorrow or not, or if it'll have to wait until Tuesday, or possibly even after Tuesday. I don't know when the anime reaction is going to be. I just haven't had time to get to it. But hopefully I will sometime soon. Gonna end things here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for, everything. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Like if you like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this week's chapter, my thoughts, and all of my reaction, all of my thoughts. Tell me what your thoughts are on all of this, because I think we got some really good character stuff, some good additions to the lore and backstories that we've known so far. Just really, really good writing here that I want to see, some other people's takes on. Also, even if I don't answer all of your comments, I do always read all of them, and it really does, because sometimes people will leave me like this well thought out paragraph, and I'm like, I just really don't like multiple paragraphs even. I'm just like, that was really good. With this and the other series I cover, and I feel bad not saying anything in response to it, but at the same time, I'm just like, that was really good, and I have nothing to add to it. So I do always read everything, and I'm excited to see what you all have to say. So subscribe if you want as well. Follow on Twitter if you want. It'd be amazing if you could subscribe. I'd love to eventually, one day, before I turn 80 years old, hit 100K just so I can get a play button. Maybe that's a monkey's paw curls situation. Maybe I don't want that much attention on me. Maybe I just would be better off having my small little niche community. But eventually, someday, it'd be nice to just have something physical, for everything, for all the time I've put in. But yeah, sub if you want to, follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. If you would like to help support the channel by dropping a super thanks, it is always appreciated. If you want to help support the channel, again, help me keep making videos and get your name at the end of every video, get One Piece videos a little bit early, hit join down below to become a member, go to patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Thank you so much to people who are already patrons and channel members. Thank you to Chosen Regular Evan Hawley, Magical Girls, FR Abyss Knight, JA, and The D-Van, Cherryton students, David Langstaff and Folded Ghoul, Slayer candidates, SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Element Pate Arialo. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all next time.